Born Primitive Outdoor is proud to partner with Montana Knife Company, Marsupial Gear, Evolution Outdoors, Sheep Feet, and Capture Gear. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our sponsors. Welcome back to the Born Primitive Outdoor podcast. I've been in the mountains faking like I was bushcrafting. Actually, I was with some friends from Virginia Beach, guys that work with me. We're getting ready to release some new products, so I'm just back from that. And I finally got my good buddy Blake Chamley on the podcast. Blake, for those wondering who that is, owns Chamley Outfitting, which is the dude that I help out or have been helping out occasionally. Helped him out on the sheep hunts and elk hunts. And Blake has been here in Wyoming a very long time and done some really cool shit. And he's been an outfitter for fucking longer than most of you have been alive. So, dude, I appreciate Blake's a little nervous, but I appreciate you finally doing the podcast with me.
Yep.
So
good to be here.
Yeah. So how long have you been, well, how old are you for one?
I am 50, going on the next digit, and I have been working the Wind Rivers up there for 38 years. 39 years, somewhere in the ballpark.
Give or take. Get that mic just a little bit closer to you. So you've been a guide for 38, 39 years.
Yeah.
So since basically you could masturbate, more or less.
There you go.
And your kid is the same way, actually. He's 20, and you've taught him as much as you can possibly teach a 20-year-old. Actually, shout out to Caden. You and Dylan both. You raised two fucking good kids, man. Your kids are pretty amazing. Yeah. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. So, again, you own Chamley Outfitting, 39, 38 years. But when did you take it over?
2002, I bought it from my uncle.
Yeah.
I worked for him since I was 12.
Yeah.
Pretty much my whole life, every summer until I graduated, I worked for my uncle growing up.
Gotcha. And he was... Obviously, Blake and I have spent a lot of times on the mountain, but he was as wild as mountain scenery, right? He was a wild man.
He was fun. He was always interesting. Yes, wild man's a good description.
So, with what you offer, I mean, again, like Blake, this is his first podcast, so I'm going to walk him into some of these questions. But you primarily sheep and elk. That's your big ones.
Yeah.
So, on the sheep, how you've done that, both elk and sheep, since for 39 years. That's what that's been your bread and butter.
I started going on sheep hunts when I was 12. I've always missed the first week or so of school growing up. It's a whole different game today than it was when I was at that age, but we're still pulling the biggest rams in our unit, and it's the highlight of my year. Really,
I know. At one point, I'm like, Blake, why don't you charge more for your sheep hunts? And you were like, well, if I charge more, people don't pay, then I can't go sheep hunting. I'm like, that checks out. I mean, that makes total sense. Because I about shit when you told me kind of what the going rate was for a sheep hunt here, what you charge, but you love doing it, and so I will say I've strongly encouraged Blake to raise his prices, but you just love sheep hunting.
I do.
Is that like your favorite?
I think sheep hunting's got to be right up there. It depends what season we're in to ask me my favorite.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Or how much of an ass whooping you got during that season. But what does it take? I mean, I know you in-state, out-of-state is different, but what's it take for an out-of-state hunter to draw a sheep tag in that unit? How many years are they looking at?
A lot. I've got a lot of guys on the line that have been trying. Some gave up when Wyoming changed the percentage of tags, and they just ate almost 20 years worth of points. But probably sitting somewhere around 25 now for the non-residents.
And residents 20. Yeah. Because people ask me, are you going to start putting in? And I'm like, I'm just going to go with people because I'll be so old, I'll be lucky to masturbate, in 20 years. So little I'm going on a sheep hunt. But you, again, sheep is the big one. That starts early. That's in August. And then elk, you do archery and rifle.
Yeah.
So talk about that. Like, when's the seasons for that? When's that kick off? for archery in the unit where you're at?
Yeah, so our sheep is August 15th, which is the earliest season for sheep in Wyoming. Our areas surrounding us. And then for elk, archery only tags, September 1st. If you have a general tag and buy the archery license on top of it, it's September 15th through the 30th. And then rifle, October 1st.
Gotcha. So actually, funny story, rewind. I didn't know Blake from anyone. 2 years ago. Blake was not happy with knew where his area was and that I was going to fuck it up, which was a very realistic possible problem, meaning I would photograph it, film it, do a podcast about it. And so actually a mutual friend of ours introduced us. We bullshitted, got along well enough. I mean, figured it out. I never even went in and hunted because I was in British Columbia. So it was a moot point for 2 years. In fact, this was the first year I've actually hunted elk in Wyoming. That area though, so you are pretty much back there then. Do you take many archery only guys? Cause that is a specific tag. Cause I drew it my first year. I never hunted it. That starts September 1st. And it goes to, it's a month.
Yep.
30 days.
Yep, the whole month.
And you can't transfer to a rifle. Nope. And I, not knowing, I put in for that. I didn't end up hunting anyway. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm assuming most of your hunts are September 15th.
Yep.
How often do you take somebody September 1st for elk?
Never really.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes I've gotten calls. It depends if we're winding down off of sheep hunts or if we have time and the year works. But most of the time, that September 15th to the 30th is the hot spot in our area.
Gotcha. And
sometimes a week before, and we wish we had hunters, but
yeah. Is the rut seem to be moving later on, or is it always just that second half is the best? Could be a week earlier or later. Could be the last week, could be the third week.
I think since I've been the year out of high school in '94, I think the second half of September's been the hot spot in our area.
Gotcha.
Consistently.
Yeah. And how many hunters are usually taken in that second half or whatever when the general opens? Are you usually bringing like 2 to 3 per week? Are you doing week-long hunts? So you're, week 3 technically of September, you're bringing in 2 to 3 hunters. Week 4, 2 to 3 hunters.
Yeah, generally in a year, I'm only I have 2 archery hunts those last 2 weeks of September, and it's normally 2 to 6 hunters a year. I do minimal. We're set up on a very. My grandpa did some guiding and stuff in the 40s, and when I got started with my own business, he always said quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And that stuck. Me and him were great friends, and his reputation as a hunter when he was younger, it was what I idolized and wanted to be. So we've ran that model. 16 to 20 hunters is nothing really. That's paying bills at the end of the year. But if you can end up at the end of the year with happy hunters and 100% kill record year in, year out for over most of your business career, I think that's the way I want to run a business.
No, that makes sense. And your success rate's pretty well, I should say success. Your opportunity rate is extremely good, but sometimes people miss more than once or twice, but your opportunity and success rate is pretty unheard of, from what I understand.
Yeah. We have probably about the top in the state of Wyoming on kill success.
Yeah.
We shoot 5 and 6 point bulls, minimally. I guess somewhere in the realistically 280 to 340s is probably the most average. I know that's a wide span, but probably the most average bulls we kill. We get up to 380s at the highest so far.
Yeah.
And but I mean, if everybody can go home with a mature bull elk, that's our goal, and that's what's made a repeat clientele business work.
I think that's pretty realistic though, because unless by some miracle you truly book, I say trophy hunter, but a trophy hunter, and you just happen to book every one of them as a trophy hunter, 280 is a trophy. I mean, when I say that, meaning unless everybody's just looking for a massive bull, numbers are probably going to go down in success rate because some people just don't have the skill set to do it, or the gumption, or they'll miss, or you just, you're not going to find, you book 16 clients, you're probably not going to find 15, 16, 350 to 370 bulls in, almost any, especially a general. So for people like this was some of the photos I posted this year where we were in the snow. We shot that really wide bull, that narrow bull. I'm trying to think what a Patrick's bull we posted that. That was all with Blake. So that was, for the people who have asked or whatever, I think I've responded to most. So that's Chamley Outfitting. Now you go all the way through end of October?
Yeah, we're usually wrapping up and pulling camp out by the end of October, the last week. If you grew up listening to the Outdoor Channel and podcasts, you'll probably hear most of the time that everybody chases opening week. My favorite is the end of season, almost always. And that depends on which camp you're in, which area, which weather, but I love the end of season because we're connected to a winter range.
Yeah.
More elk moving in.
That's so, not to detour off this, but this year was the first year I hunted Wyoming.
Yeah.
Every other place I've ever hunted, end of September, I'm done. Right? Can't grab another weapon. Archery's it. There's no grab a rifle. And so I ended up, for different reasons, I had some personal shit go on with a buddy or whatever, but basically first or second day of rifle season, I shot a elk, looked big, whatever, it's not, it's that one on the wall. And then I go with you to guide, and I'm like, I kind of forgot I have 30 fucking more days to keep hunting, right? And I'm not used to that. And I would say, the weather can be a problem. I'm not an expert or whatever, but like that hunting was, for me, pretty epic because you don't kill yourself because you're going in on horse and mule. You get every experience you could ever ask for scenery and everything else. And realistic, when I say realistic, we got Bill up the hill. Pretty much anybody could do it. Sorry, Bill, but you're fat. You're a friend. But we got Bill up there, right? For the most part, you're able to get pretty much almost anyone in realistic range over time. And when I say that, that's not on necessarily a 350 to the 370 bull, but you're probably going to get, over the course of time, eventually they'll slip up. And I had never been in an area for that long above tree line in rifle season because my hunt's generally done in September. Now I've hunted, in later seasons, but you have to take the horses and mules and, move them around a little bit, go to bit different areas, but the shit just kept getting better, I guess is what I'm leading up to. Like, I wasn't even there the first week, but it certainly doesn't slow down. And then your kid, after the entire season, everyone's done, your kid goes in and shoots a slob. Like he shot a big bull too.
Yeah. My 15-year-old went and got a 315 at least bull and 6x7, and that was after everything was done. And another bull that wasn't seen in season.
Yeah.
It was just they were still moving in. But when you're connected to a winter range, that's the perk of that whole area we're in, is things just keep moving in.
So when Blake says that, just to put some context to it, Blake is outside a lot, like a lot. So he's able to keep an eye for them on the resident herd. And when I say that, he's got names for some of them, sees them year in and year out, shed hunts. The bull that Bill and I killed, Bill, the big wide bull, you had never seen.
Nope.
And quite honestly, it wasn't there when we left to go after it. Like I don't know, because Caden was above me. I don't know that Caden might have got an eye on that bull. I only saw one hammer in that group when they had circled the whole basin, and Caden ended up going to another area. So if you can imagine, I had Bill, pinnacle of fitness, right? Just ready to sprint up the mountain. No, Bill we were down low, saw the elk up high, and Caden was above me with different clients, and Caden saw the same elk. And, it was one of those things where I'm like, look, I told Bill, I was like, they can kill these elk easier than us, but I'm telling them not to because you need to make it. So you don't make it, you're going to fuck me, and I'm going to look real bad. I don't know if Bill ever told you this story, but I was like, we go, and I call Caden off. We're kind of shitting in Caden's Wheaties because he can dump on top of them. And luckily Bill made it up. But by the time we got over there, the bull I thought we were going to shoot, when Bill's bull came out, I was all fucked up because I did not see that bull. I mean, there's probably 150 elk in that group. I didn't know that. I never saw that bull when we made the approach. He came from a different area, you were thinking. Up and over the top. So the bull that Dylan shot, same thing. You had never seen that bull.
Nope. None of the bulls we watched all archery season or that first few days. It's
good for next year.
No.
For this year, yeah.
My top 3 bulls that I took pictures of and watched all archery season, we still haven't. They just did disappear and they're still alive.
What's funny, I texted Blake because I was pretty excited because when we had shot that bull, the miracle of getting Bill up the hill, right? And in a lot quicker than I thought we would. Bill not dying.
Ass.
Yeah. No, Bill did good. Bill not dying, which was another part of it. Bill hitting the elk, all came in. So Bill was behind me when I got up the hill, and I could see it laying on its side, and I texted you, and I said, we shot a fucking hammer. And you're like, asshole, need more info, point size. And I don't know. I think I said, I'm not sure, not to it yet. It's huge. And when I got up to it, I was like, this fucking thing's got to be 4 foot wide, and which it was. And then when we got it down, the hill or whatever, we got everything packed out and cut up. You were like, man, I haven't seen that bull before, and I was like, I hadn't either. So when we came over there, but you've got some other bulls that size in there.
Oh yeah.
That how often does that happen?
I don't think it's like a natural thing for something when it comes to that size, but every single year something's taken down and there's arguments until we pull up pictures and all the guides get together and say, nope, that's a different one. That part's common. For it to be a dropper at 350 plus, that was a rare fun deal.
I think that's actually what I said, this fucker is wide over 350.
Yeah.
Because again, bulls generally, I'm not too far off on elk, right? I'm usually close. That bull we were both pretty close on, but we the day before had shot a bull that I thought was 290, and then we measured it and it was like 320 something.
I think that one was 328, wasn't it?
That's what I thought. 327, and I was so baffled. I measured that thing multiple times because I just didn't think it was a 27-inch wide bull. So we have a 48-inch wide bull and a 27-inch wide bull, and the 27-inch wide bull is a good bull. It's 328.
Long times.
I told Mike when we killed it, I'm like, dude, he's probably 293. He might break 3. Then we get down, and the first time, because Gracie was on her phone, like with the calculator, and or you were, because I was like, you added some shit, or I measured some shit twice. Like, measure that thing again.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. So which was cool, but you guys never did kill the target elk. They disappeared on you.
Yeah.
I mean, we killed a bunch of good elk, but you guys ended up, those disappeared.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of canyons in the country, as you know.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of hidey holes, and I don't know. As disappointing as it is that we didn't get them, I'm excited that they're going to be there next year because there was a couple big whoppers.
Yeah. And, well, and you still pulled a lot of good elk out of there. And then before I came in there, you had 6 veterans that had booked a hunt, and they were all successful. I think, all of them got one. That was the podcast I did where Wally tried to kill everyone, and it was more of a story of survival. But that was with you as well. For people, when Wally talked about getting everybody to freeze to death and not getting a fire going, that was with Blake as well. Yeah. So you brought, generally or whatever, how I got involved with the elk hunting side of things. Blake got hurt, got bucked off. A horse, and you broke. You are a tough fucker. A mule. You broke 3 ribs, 2 vertebrae.
I fractured my spine, 3 ribs, and broke my shoulder and dislocated it. Yeah, one really smooth move.
Because we talked, and I remember you sounded literally like you just took like a serrated corn cob in your ass, and you're like, and I'm like, well, dude, Blake's not very good at asking for help, and I'm like, dude, do you want help? And then something happened with Wally. He couldn't go, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm good. I said the other shit I can cancel. And then your fucking dumbass. So this is how tough you are. Rode into camp with us with 2 broken vertebrae, three broke ribs, and a lacerated shoulder. How was that trip in, by the way?
Well, there's been funner trips.
I bet. Oh, shit.
But once I got there, I had, 16 days to sit there, do nothing, go.
You look about go crazy.
Yeah, I'm built like you that way. I can't just sit. But being able to talk to all the clients and give directions if a guide's having trouble refinding something that moved, that was nice to be there for. Which horse is best for which runners? Yeah. Which horse is slow enough for Aaron to fucking saddle and recatch when he can't tie?
Good Lord, I know. I was just talking to Gracie about that. Fucking Isaac can untie Bolin. So this story, for anybody that didn't listen to the podcast with Bill and the guys from Nantucket, we go up and shoot Mike's bull. We come back. Bill's missing his horse. It's ran off with wild horses. And Bill, when I left, I didn't do my job. Bill said he could tie a Bolin horse that I found out later actually probably did untie the Bolin. So Bill's like, there was wild horses. He fell asleep. And I'm like, Bill, I'm like, wild horses. And so I actually, the next day, Gracie yelled at me. She's like, who tied up Isaac? And I'm like, I did. And I know how to tie a Bolin. And she's like, well, you fucking suck because he about had it untied. And I'm like, no. The next day I watched him. He would pull on it, yank his head in circles.
Yeah, that mule's got issues.
He's crafty. He's a cool mule. But before we move on to some hunting stories, so basically anybody listening in that has 6 points or has a friend with a lot of points, Blake is definitely a guy to go with, to book with. And how that works, you can share points in Wyoming. Do you want to explain that a little better? Because I'm hacking this up.
No, you're doing fine. So if you put in as a group or a party, they just, and somebody's got 12 points and somebody's got 0, they average it. So if you go in as a party of 2, you each got 6 going in, and that can be a successful draw like this year. Buying points is a big thing for people that actually want to hunt, and almost every Western state is, the people that forget to buy points, that's the group that always screws up my bookings. Mm-hmm. Somebody in a group of 6 will forget to buy a point, almost always. And that throws it to the next year. They don't draw, This year we have an unexpected opening, so we're going to actually have room if there's a group out there to book. I've got a lot of inquiries since we got back from vacation. I got to get a hold of, but it's easy to get a hold of us.
So, for example, because we are booking, me and all my friends are booking a hunt with you, and Jerry, everybody knows Jerry, my partner in crime, my male non-homo wife, has 13 points, and so he is sharing those points. We're putting it as a group, but he is sharing the other half of those points with Kurt. So Kurt, obviously my right-hand man, or I'm his right-hand man, will be able to use half of his points, and we should draw. So for anybody, you can message me if you want. On that note, Blake, how can they get a hold of you before we move on too much farther?
Our website's wyomingoutfitting.com, and that's got all of our contact information, and people want to browse and look at it. It's pretty plain and simple, the way I like it. Otherwise,
and on social, you've got you have a personal page. Do you want to give that out for people to pester you on there? I'll pull it up while we're talking here.
And then, we have obviously, like most people, we have a Facebook business page for under Chamley Outfitting, Instagram.
I'm pulling it up now. So it is Chamley, CHAMLEY _ outfitting. Blake Chamley. Actually, hop on there and follow him because you suck, Blake. You only got 449 followers. We got to work on your Insta famous status. But you can see on there some of the different elk and sheep and adventures on that page. So if you need to get a hold of Blake, if you've got that many points, looking at it, and I will, for those who are going to be asking, I'll be back there. Well, I'll be hunting the first week, but I'll be back there pretty much all October is the plan, guiding or whatever else. So,
hopefully we get you up there in August for another sheep hunt too.
Yeah, that would be good. Hopefully you book more than one sheep hunt. That was fun. That was really fun. Actually, on that note, if you have 25 points and you're an out-of-stater and you have questions, get a hold of Blake, or you can get a hold of me and I can get you a hold of Blake. Social media, how much do you check that?
I check it about daily on my off season, unless
okay. So you can get a hold of them on Instagram if you got 25 out-of-state Wyoming points and you're wondering about putting in for sheep. I can't say it was one of the coolest, and I have hunted, or I haven't hunted, I have guided sheep on a lot of places. That was one of the coolest trips, and luckily you can either choose to ride 30 some miles in, or you can cut that down quite a bit, and Blake can explain that. But if you want a real adventure, you could ride that fucking horse 32 miles in. On that note, on the sheep, just to rewind real quick, when do they have to put in for sheep? Is it by June or something, or sooner? May?
I was thinking May. You caught me on a brain fart on that, so I can.
But even whatever, we don't have to have the exact date. Yeah. If you have that many points, or you know of somebody that has that many points, and you're listening to this, I mean, don't be afraid. Get a hold of Blake. Again, if you get a hold of me, I'm just going to transition you over to Blake. But I mean, it is a badass hunt, and you said this was a bad year, and we still found a damn good ram. I mean, a couple ram. I mean, one was a ram. The other one was a pretty damn good ram. What is the biggest ram you've taken out of there?
177 and change. We've gotten some really cool score-wise. Our area, sometimes they don't have the bases like people want.
Yeah. Yep.
13 3/4 inches to 15 and a half has
pretty
been anywhere in there. You know, I know some areas are known for 16 plus bases. But,
not many are known for that.
Yeah.
People lie about that shit. But
the curl, we have a good genetics. We got some rams with the last few years that were over 2 inches past full curl.
Yeah.
And really unique looking, beautiful rams.
And I know there was one in there at one time that was insanely huge, and I have taken photos of rams that could potentially go back there, depending upon where they winter, that are pretty damn good rams. So again, on the sheep hunt side of things, whether you're a resident or a non-resident, if you've got, questions, it is a badass area. That was one of the funnest trips, that I've had, and I've hunted in area or guided sheep in a lot of different places. Pretty badass. Just make sure you like to ride a horse, because you will ride that fucker at least 12 miles. It really wasn't that.
Or a mule.
I prefer mules actually. It really wasn't at the pickup point. Wasn't that bad. Yeah. No, it's pretty chill. Even the way we went, I don't know what we do. We did 20 something in a day. Yeah,
about 25 or more.
Yeah, it wasn't, honestly, if I would have worn fucking sunscreen and a beanie or a boonie hat, I would have been a lot happier. It was a pretty chill ride. It wasn't that bad. I mean, I say that I'm not a horse guy, so obviously knees were a little bit sore. But yeah, if you've got 20 points as a resident or 25 as a non-resident, don't be afraid to get a hold of Blake. And again, if you get a hold of me, I mean, I can answer a very small amount of shit. I'm just going to push you over to Blake. So moving on to out hunting stories, just because you've told me a few. When you took this over from your uncle, you have told me some stories about your uncle that he potentially could have had told some tall tales, but then some of those tall tales were true, and other ones you're like, well, that one was true. Well, fuck, is this one true or not? What was that? So was he was pretty wild?
Yeah, he was a handful. He's a great guy, but always a interesting subject. Growing up, he never knew which story you're going to hear daily with guests and what was going to be added on or taken away from the story. Throughout the years, he would tell you sometimes about going through a canyon, and you would like, I don't think that's fucking possible.
Yeah.
And then 10 years later, you find out that there's actually a grown-in trail through that canyon. All kinds of little things like that. Nothing that was super important, but just sometimes he talked about killing sheep on top of Gannett Peak, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It was always a fun story.
Yeah. So when learning from him, what would you say? Not the bad things. What were the good things you probably learned from him?
Oh, horsemanship was probably instantly on the top of it.
Yeah, because Ty Finley said you're one of the top 3 horsemen he's ever met in his life. Yeah, and that says a lot for Ty, because he doesn't say that shit about anyone. Yeah. So a lot of that was from him.
And all due credit goes right to my uncle on a lot of that.
Yeah.
Since an early age, I remember training my first colt with him when I was in Du Bois. First grade, just outside of and a field right outside of Du Bois. It's
So would you say that was like the only thing you really should have learned from him? If you learn that, that's enough. So the horsemanship, breaking horses, tack, tying on shit, all the normal stuff or whatever. Yeah. So on the handling of client side of things, would you say you learned what not to do from him more than what to do?
I think with all friends and family, you learn both sides of that. Yeah.
Is he still alive?
There are some people you just learn to do the opposite of
what they do
from the hardship experiences, I guess. But
is he still around?
Yes. Yeah.
So he might listen to this. So we got to be a little bit careful. Yeah. The thing is somebody told me once all outfitters are either disloyal, dishonest, or disorganized. I found that to be fairly true, right? Yeah. I mean, within reason. And when I say that, they're not going to be so catastrophically disorganized, but if they have a bad trait, it's going to be one of those 3, right?
Very honest statement there.
Yeah, I found it to be pretty true. So you get the outfit in 2002.
20-something years old, yeah.
How much of a shit show was that your first few years, or was it smooth?
It was not smooth. A lot of this is being aired when he's still alive, so there was a lot of discretion in the way the buyout was supposed to go and go. And then when you buy it at, 24 years old, you start out your first year after a big down payment, and you don't get any clients to go along with the first payment. Yeah. There's a lot of things that weren't expected. Yeah. And newborn baby in the house, and it was a fun. It was a hard time the first 5 years.
Gotcha.
Getting your foot in the door, and we luckily ran a business for almost 20 years with all repeat clientele.
Yeah.
And that was great.
Yeah.
You get to know who's coming, who's how they ride, how they shoot, what they bitch about, how to handle it.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
With the point system now, things are changing.
Yeah.
Our business drastically in the last 3 years has gone to where most of my old clientele are too old to come. Not all, but and then we're getting a huge wave of new people because of the points it takes to, and people can't draw every 5 years or don't want to, and they're getting up there. And so it's been good and bad though. Meeting a whole bunch of new people is pretty cool. The bad is sometimes you get a client that gets up there and he's like, "You didn't tell me there's cliffs."
Yeah, it's or whatever.
Read the website.
No, that'll happen. So you've got your new outfit. For everybody that didn't know, we took a momentary pause. I had to feed the dogs. Kid on the way. Potentially weird things going on the buyout. I know you had mentioned when I was back there with you on the elk hunt, I think, that there was a couple times you didn't have enough. You were doing everything on your own. For the most part.
Yeah.
So, bring that up just a little bit, that mic.
Yeah. So, I had a handful of years where I would pack all of my own. I couldn't afford to hire employee.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was setting wall tents, packing in my own feed. Good thing I had some good buddies back in the day that would step up and come in, and they had just enough time to take off to guide for me for a week to maybe 3.
Yeah.
So there were some hard years there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Either do it myself and buck up, or don't make the camp payment and lose everything,
Oh, yeah. Well, and I mean, this year, you, because it was, I had met Blake a couple years ago, or 3, 2, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I ended up going up to BC. I was working with Ron and Maria, who are great people. And then I was going to hunt more this year. You got hurt, and I'm like, I'm going to go help you. And normally you've got you and your kid, which generally can handle pretty much everything, and you've got a wrangler. Well, this year you lost your wrangler, so Gracie came in. Basically, her first day was my first day, and she did great, it seemed like.
Oh, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's funny. Gracie came in and was the wrangler, and I think she's going to help you out again this year from what she was saying.
Unless something changes, she's got plans of coming back and wrangling, packing, whatever we need done in camp, because she's a tough fucking gal.
No, yeah, she's a tough chick. She's funnier than shit. She was giving me shit the other day because when we killed Mike's bull, me not being the most efficient with pack animals, I got the one of the first things I told Blake, I'm like, dude, I'm good at killing. I am not worth a fuck with horses, but I knew enough from what you had already showed me and Bart, because I'd talked to Bart since you and and Bart was like, I fucking told you. I told you to learn that shit. And I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't, Bart. And he's like, one season, you'll know enough. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm feeling more comfortable. You probably even noticed that I'm getting in.
You got your hitch down?
Yeah. And I tied that. Oh, fuck. I forgot to tighten the cinch strap or whatever back up, and so when I loaded up the first elk, the quarters, it spun under the mule, and immediately knew it. I was like, oh fuck. So got it unloaded. Mule you got pretty good pack string. They were pretty calm. Yeah, I mean for what happened, he bucked a couple times, calmed down, pulled it out. He's like, hurry up, dumb shit. Flipped it around, cinched it. Everything was good. But that bull was so narrow. I was like, fuck, this is not good. Like, I couldn't. It was 3 inches inside of the ass cheeks of the mule. Yep. So we came down and got Gracie. Well, then when we went back up, I was like, I've got 550 cord. Let's just go. And was not enough. And because she was yelling at me. Well, then we get to the last tree, and I'm notorious for it's only a couple 100 yards, right? And she was like, well, let's tie them off.
One more hill.
Oh, she was pissed. So, now keep in mind, I didn't know Gracie more than 20 minutes or whatever on the right end. And I'm like, no, it's just right up here. So it was much farther than what I said. And we get up there, and it was like an epic pain in the ass trying to get that thing tied on. We get it down off the mountain, and that was the second week of season, I think. Second week of October. Is that right?
I think I'm trying to get hunters straight in which weeks they had.
The first week Daniel had with his guys.
Yep, so the second week.
Was it? Okay, the second week. You are crippled up at camp, but you rode in. And so I've got guys, and Caden has guide. Caden's your son. And I'm trying to think that area, trying to put this into context, you have one primary base camp, and then you go out and come back every night. And at that base camp, we had, yes, you actually, hold on. Wally not only drank the whiskey, he tried to help, and he pulled some tents down. Am I remembering that right? Weren't you short a tent because they were trying to help you out and pulled a tent down and took it back? Is that?
Yeah.
Am I remembering this right?
Pull down too many tents.
Yeah, not in a bad way. So you've got your cook shack, big ass wall tent, couple stoves, and then
very large cook tent where everybody hangs out, sort of the heart of camp.
Oh yeah. There was no whiskey because Wally drank it all, you fucker. And then you've got water coming right through. You got a faucet there. You had, I think Gracie and your kids stayed in the one tent.
Yeah.
And then you and Johanna had another.
Yeah, me and my wife.
And then we had, which still had plenty of room. We had 8 people in the one tent, which was more than enough room.
Yeah, it's still a big tent you guys were in, but
yeah, I wasn't complaining.
we were short what we were expecting.
1/5 of makers and a tent or two. So when you go out each day, you've basically got, what, 5 primary spots that you head in and out to, depending upon. And I say that, there's some other, like, there was elk that fucking came to camp.
Yeah, we've killed elk. We've had one of our oldest hunters ever killed the wrong bull, but he killed a bull standing in camp.
Yeah. I mean, because when I guess I came out. Did I come out? Yeah, I came out for a couple days and then went back in. Yep. Like that area, because I wasn't overly familiar with this area, and certainly not overly familiar with running my own pack string. So I took the easy stuff, and Caden pretty much got fucked. Sorry, Caden, if you listen to this. So Caden had to go and literally, stumble through the jungle like Captain Simplejack, because you've got 3 mountain passes that you have nicknames for.
Yeah.
That you go, and then you have little pockets in each.
We tried to divide up our areas to where no guide is ruining another guide's hunt. So we have invisible boundary areas to where we all spread out every day. Yeah. Sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you're not going to tell a hunter no if you're chasing a 330 bull into the other guide's area. Yeah. But
on that note, because Caden was going over a mountain pass when he spotted the elk that Bill and I were on, and I will say, like, being a guide and a hunter, I was nervous that I had taken Bill, because if Bill didn't make it, that really fucked Caden, right? No. I mean, truthfully, right? When I say nervous, if we would not have made it down and up the other side, I really had screwed Caden. Right. And I mean, I think about things like that. So I had given Bill.
Well, we all have to end up in camp at night to face each other. So,
yeah, because I told Bill, I'm like, look, you fat fuck, if you don't make it up, I didn't say it like that, but I like, look, Bill, I don't care how fast you make it. You just have to make it. Right. And I said, everything else will be on me. We'll take our time, because, in that area, you've got Basin, Summit, Basin, whatever, you've got all these different areas. Mm-hmm. And when Caden's going over the top to his other basin, he can see into my basin, and we had lots of elk in my basin. And, so you pretty much, though, with the amount of hunters you take, you're not really ever double tapping an area or piss pounding it that much unless they just keep coming back.
Yeah, no, it works out very well. And that's where being in the area my whole life, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can learn the migrations of the elk and where to separate those areas to where it's efficient.
Yeah. Yep.
And we get to hear that from the successful hunters year in, year out. Hey, this worked awesome. We never even seen another hunter.
Yeah.
And
well, the entire time we were back there, I saw, I don't know who, but probably 4 miles away, I saw one hunter the entire time we were back there. And I say 4, I don't know. It was a long ways away. I thought some of the spotter, because I came back and told you, I'm like, hey, I don't know where the fuck these guys were going, but I saw basically one hunter. It looked like 3 dudes. One person had a weapon. We didn't run into anybody else the entire time we were back there.
That's the benefit of our area also, is there's no water.
Yeah.
Nobody. We camp and have the legal rights to the one area with water.
Yeah.
And
as
bad as that sounds, we're fortunate.
No, I can tell you from like me fooling around back there, backpacking and everything. Yeah, there's not a lot of water.
No, very minimal.
The sheep hunt was definitely unique in that aspect, because when I say unique, we were just snow melt, right? And now when I say that, you and I had to bivvy out away from main camp, and look for, when I say bivvy out, head out, look for sheep and whatever. Main camp's got water.
Yep.
But when we headed out, we were getting it off of, snowdrift.
Melt off.
Yeah, melt off or whatever. Now, on your sheep camp, do you run one camp and then can you bivvy out from there? Or do you stay at that main camp and go in and out every day?
For elk?
No, for sheep.
For sheep.
Yeah.
You got one spike camp, it's called.
Yeah.
And that's where you leave to and from every day.
Yeah.
If you get too far from camp,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't make it across those dangerous boulder fields or snow
Yeah.
glaciers and stuff, then you have the right to stay out until the next morning.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I didn't know how that had worked because I didn't ask you at the time because we were able to, make it happen going in and out. But you're pretty successful for your 39 years in the one spot, basically. Like you haven't really had to go too far away from there, have you?
Yeah, I've got 3 spots that I'd like to check out. We're up there. I think one of the reasons we're very successful on our sheep, when it comes to sheep, is
I can tell you one reason: you're fucking 30 miles in. That's one. No one's going back there.
but also doing our fishing trips. We go do our golden fishing trips and,
Yeah.
our drop trips and stuff, and we're in the country all from, let's just say, July 1st. Season opens August 15th.
Mm-hmm.
We're in there a lot pre-hand, and if the sheep aren't in one of those 3 spots, I don't know where to find them.
Yeah.
Because it's just a natural.
They've got to be in one of the 3.
Yeah. And it's just picking which one. By the time the hunter gets there, we know where we last seen them, and odds are in our favor. Yeah.
Now, that's one thing that we didn't talk about because I fish a lot. You offer in the summer drop camp trips, like corporate drop camp trips for fishing and things like that as well. So how does that work exactly? Meaning, like, how do you set that up? How many do you do? What time of year is that as far as bringing people into those alpine lakes?
Yeah. Fishing trips, we do a couple different options. You always got those people that will call me and say, hey, I don't need your help, but can you drop all their gear?
Yeah.
And, too proud to want help, but they're getting older or something.
Yeah.
Whatever the case be. But
I've hiked up that. It does suck.
It sucks.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Yeah.
No. When I'm ready to retire, I'll be calling whoever's in line behind me to bring my stuff in to there, So we do we bring people on horseback in there and drop them off, or we just bring their gear. 2 different options there for fishing, or drop trips, they're called. And our fully fledged fishing trips, we bring a camp, the food, and cook for them.
And that's usually a minimum group.
Yeah, 4, 6 at the most type people.
Yeah, 4 to 6.
Yeah, and it depends where they want to go. We can go 4 hours, or we can go 42 miles. Yeah, which is a day and a half solid. If the people want to do the golden trips where they're doing the 40-something miles.
So on the 42-mile thing, is that a loop in and out? How's that work?
In the same trail you go back out on.
Same one I went in on with you?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, I mean, give you an idea how good this was, and this is no bullshit. I am paying Blake to take the Born Primitive crew in June to go back there because it's multiple lakes, and you have splake in one of them. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I haven't fished the one you talked about, but amazing scenery. And if you got packed back there and dropped off, you could, with enough, you would need to be fit. You can hit other lakes in there. You can walk. That starts end of June, I would imagine, with snow load.
Yeah, honestly, I usually don't try to start packing or booking people until the first week of July, just because
be safe. Yeah.
With snow loads. Some years I'm wishing I booked people at the end of June.
Yeah, because that's kind of what we're doing is freewheeling it to go. If the snow is gone, we're going to go in late June, I think, is the plan. And like with what we're doing, you're just packing us in with our gear, and then since you're a buddy, you can stay and hang out and fish. The fishing in there, I've only fished the one lake, but the fishing in there in the one lake was pretty fucking insane. Are all of them pretty damn good?
Yeah.
It's a long ways
it's
in.
considered blue ribbon fishing in that whole area, which is a hard meter to classify as. The golden trout, for the areas that we do golden fishing, it's world renowned. It's our area and parts of the Wind River Reservation are top in the world for goldens. And that's usually like the bucket list fish for a lot of these fly fishermen that we take. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I was actually, so Kurt and the crew were just here, and he was like a kid, because obviously for us, we can do survival content and make a cool, video or, whatever out of it. And then with the fishing trip, that stops, I would imagine, right before sheep. I mean, when do you kill off the fishing trips?
I need about a week before. So by the 8th of August, I'm usually trying to gear up and get ready for giving the horses a break and getting the food ready. We pre-cook a lot of that food, and stuff for the sheep hunt. So I need about a week before the August 15th sheep hunt.
Gotcha. So just for anybody listening in, looking to do a fishing trip, are you booked out this year? Or do you have any openings?
I've just booked 2 trips yesterday. And I have a feeling this year's going to be filled up pretty quick.
So if, for anybody listening in, smallest group you'll take in?
2 minimum.
2. And you will let them take their own crap in and just drop them?
So drop trips, I don't care how many people there are. If they're playing a full-fledged fishing trip, 2 minimum, 6 at the most.
Gotcha. So what does it cost for a drop trip with 4 guys? Your own gear, their own gear, you're just dropping them off.
So that's a loaded question. It depends on where they want dropped.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say they want to go in, 13 to 16 miles to that crazy river that we crossed on the way into the sheep hunt. Yeah. And it's 4 people. I would imagine that gets a little bit dicey on pricing. So it's 4 people and you're just dropping their stuff off. What is it generally? $500 one way per horse, and then another $500 for the pack animal? Or is that somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a person is what anybody could kind of base that off of? Like, what would be a safe high-end number per person to go in on that specific spot, that, let's say, 12 to 15 miles in?
Yeah. Without my price sheet in front of me, it's probably going to be close to that $1,500 per person.
Okay, cool. And that is 4 days, 5 days? How many days is that?
2-way trip. Everybody's got their different bookings on that.
Yeah.
As long as I'm booking trips in between, we are in and out of that country nonstop. So I might have another 2 trips between picking them up and dropping them off.
So they could stay 4 days, or they could stay 7, as long as the schedule lines up.
That's on their schedule and how they book with me.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. I will say that specific, that is very intriguing to me as a fisherman, because it's not that expensive. For one, it's doable, and knowing what I know about the fishing, it's insanely good fishing, and the bears aren't that big of a deal back there. I'm not saying don't bring a gun, but the bear problem is not that big of a problem in there
compared to a lot of other
areas
in Du Bois. Correct.
Yep. I mean, and I'm not saying, hey, this is completely grizzly free. I'm just saying that it's not nearly as bad as some of the other places I've been. So if you're somebody looking at, fishing, like, I would call early or plan for next year, because it is some of the coolest scenery I've ever seen.
It's gorgeous.
And the fishing is pretty amazing. So moving on to some hunting stories. So let's do some personal ones first with you. So how much of your body did you fuck up when you killed your sheep? Because you fell off a cliff. Were you solo when you did your own sheep hunt? Like, you told me, did you fall off a cliff packing it out? Like, what happened with that? Yeah,
that was just I should have known better type deal looking back at it. Day 14 by myself.
Yeah, you've done some shit.
Yeah. But, I knew back then that it was probably a once-in-a-lifetime tag. Mm-hmm. So I just sort of canceled almost all my bookings.
Mm-hmm.
once I found out I had a tag, and actually called up and canceled a couple bookings I already had booked, and found other people to do them for me because I wanted to fill that tag.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried archery.
Yeah.
I drew back last day of archery season on a small ram, 3/4 lamb tips, but I didn't care. I just wanted a ram with my bow. Didn't work.
Yeah.
Next day, rifle opener. Went back to camp, traded in the bow for the rifle, went back to try to find a different ram that I'd found, and found a whole different group. There was 13 in that group, and it took me, I dropped over 3,000 foot in elevation that day with my rifle to climb back up a canyon, to climb another 1,500 foot back up the other side. And the oldest ram wasn't what I thought he was.
Yeah.
You know, that just happens. I don't care how experienced you are. Sometimes when you're that far away,
especially back then, the optics weren't even what they were now. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but it was an old ram, pretty, close to 170.
Yeah.
Just under. Old ram, chocolate colored, which is really common in our area, and I was completely happy with it. Shot that ram, went up there, did all the work, did a couple photos, and rain started, snowstorm came in. By time I had it caped and deboned and loading it on my backpack, it was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And got it all in my backpack with my personal gear and my rifle. And I couldn't even lift up my backpack.
Yeah, I mean, you're
head meat.
Yeah, I'm sure
a whole sheep. I couldn't.
Because usually just to put this into context, I mean, these are rough numbers, but usually you're looking at a sheep's going to be over an older ram like you're talking about. It's kind of like a mule deer, over 200 pounds. So you're looking at 60 to 70 pounds. Would you agree with that, of deboned meat?
Pretty close, yeah.
And then you're looking at the cape. If it's a full body, you're really fucked. But shoulder mount plus the horns is another 65. The horns are really heavy. Plus, if they're in snow, you're adding some weight. So you're at 120. So you're probably pushing 140, I would bet, in weight. And I will say, Blake may be tough. You are not an opposing figure. I mean, what are you, 6'2" and 180?
6'3", 195 right now, and probably 170 back then.
not as much Coors Lattes. But, so that's a lot of weight, right? Because generally the rule of thumb is half your body weight is about the most you want to carry. Okay. So you're carrying damn near your body weight. So then what happened?
Well, for what I remember, I had to set that backpack fully loaded on a boulder behind me, and then turn around and put it on, where it was already at the height of my shoulders, and then turn around and get it on my shoulders, buckled up. I remember taking 2 steps, and with that fresh snow on the moss on the rocks, I slipped and I went off it was right about a 30-something foot ledge. Yeah. Just too much weight. Yeah. It was just bad decision again. I woke up that evening laying there, and hindsight, I had a herniated disc in my neck, herniated disc in my back, broke all the ribs on my left side, and then tore the soft ribs underneath, and just completely out of it though, mentally. Bad concussion. By the next day, I had somehow made it crawling. I left my gear for 4 miles down the trail, and the ram, and the rifle, but I don't remember why or how, but I end up leaving more and more gear all the way down.
Breadcrumbs. Just drop. Oh, yeah.
By the time I got back to my camp, that's at 12,000 feet, with my mules tied up still. That's all I can remember is my mules are tied. I have to make it to camp. That was the thing that was driving me. I love my mules.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was the next day. I was down to my long johns and no shoes, no coat, no nothing. Long johns and just crawling. I don't know. My mind was really.
You're in shock is probably the biggest problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And called the ex on the satellite phone. Yeah. And she's like, I don't get it. You had your little. What is your little?
Oh, the inReach beacon thing? Yeah.
You can push OK or help.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in my mind, being all screwed up and with my head trauma, I was pushing okay, then I was pushing help, then I was pushing okay, then help.
Yeah,
and she was getting all the messages at home, back and forth. So by the time I called her on the satellite phone, I was still messed up in the head, and she was like, I don't get it. What's going on? And I was like, I was trying to tell you that I'm hurt, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
That made sense in my mind at the time.
Yeah. So how did you get out?
So I dry heaved with the pain of the ribs mainly. The ribs is what I remember the most. I had to leave part of that camp there. I couldn't lift it or do anything.
Yeah.
Just saddling my mules.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a challenge.
And then the drive I had in my head about finally getting my lifetime ram.
Yeah.
I rode down that mountain, back up. That was 9 hours to get back to the sheep all the way around and up the canyon.
Yeah. So is this the canyon where I looked down and found some half curls?
Yes.
That when on the way out you can look up?
Back up.
Yeah, that's a fucking poke.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All the way down and around.
Yep. Yeah.
I barely could get off my mule by the time I got to my ram. And I started finding my gear scattered on the trail on the way up.
Wondering what the fuck.
And I was like surprised as I found it. I was like, wait, that's mine.
Yeah. Yeah, major concussion.
Yeah, my concussion messed me up. But I ended up picking up my rifle, parts of things I left in my backpack, and then I found my ram skull.
Yeah.
And then I went up and got the meat. And by the time I got back on my mule, I wasn't getting back off.
Yeah.
And I knew I was in panic mode then. I had to make it to my uncle's fishing camp. And
where's that? Like how much, like within reason without giving that away?
So that I was at about 10,000 feet or less, probably less. And then I had to go up and over 11,400 foot pass and then back down to about 9,000 feet. So we're talking another 8 hours. So the middle of the night is when I turned the corner and I seen they were still out there and they were all having fun. They were between their trips, and my uncle and his guides and friends and a cousin of mine were all out there drinking some whiskey and having fun because they didn't have any clients, and they were just having a good time, and it worked perfect because here I was coming in.
Yeah.
And by that time I couldn't get off my mule.
Yeah.
And,
did they freak out?
They were wondering what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because at that point, me and my uncle hadn't talked for years.
Yeah.
Because of previous
business
of the business.
Yeah.
So I had to eat a lot of crow and ask for help.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
They helped me off my mule, and I ate more pain pills than I think I should have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Made it through the night with hardly any sleep, and the next day they took duct tape. Some of his crew helped me out. Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for that forever.
Yeah.
They duct taped all my ribs up to where, because I was having a hard time breathing.
Yeah.
And my back was giving out with the vertebrae and stuff, and I had to ride another 16 miles out the next day with one of his younger crew members at the time.
Yeah.
Who was great. Helped me out water. I mean, the kid was young at the time. He helped me out the whole way out. Yeah, so 16 miles, or more than that actually. It's 21 miles from that point out the next day.
Gotcha.
So, that was my biggest, I don't know if you want to call it fuck up or my biggest memory of learning curve. Don't go do shit like that by yourself. Yeah,
no, and I mean, I've been lucky because I do so much shit solo, but technology nowadays helps with that a lot, in my opinion, meaning, I've got a Garmin InReach Messenger I can send photos on. Yeah. I've got a cell phone. If it's Verizon, you have T-Mobile, I got to fucking swerve it around the sky, but I can get service from that. You've got pinpoint location from that, and
it's a different world today.
No, it is. And I mean, the other thing too, there's also quite a bit. I mean, good and bad. There's an easy button now with YouTube and social. I'm using air quotations. Knowledge and wisdom learning. the thing that, because I'm like paranoid Paulie, because I've never fucked myself up that bad, but I'm the guy. I mean, I think you were laughing how much my pack weighed for day trips, because I've been in the positions where I'm like, yeah, I might fucking die. Like, this is not good. So I'm kind of, pretty overly, prepared.
Prepared, yes.
But when you're back that far, there's no one potentially coming. Like in the BC where we're at, there is no one coming, but you definitely want to be, one, really fucking tough, or very prepared, or both, because back then you didn't really have a choice other than to be really tough. There wasn't, when I say prepared, you'd been doing it for years. You didn't have the technology that we have nowadays, and not just in communication, but also just knowledge. Like, when I say knowledge, you would learn from your uncle, and you'd learn all about horsemanship and learned everything else, but you probably never learned to read a map correctly, because you didn't have to. You just learned the area. No. Things like that. And so knowledge nowadays is much easier to get, but it's also not used or challenged as much, meaning like you've been back there a lot, and so shit happens, right? I mean, you talked about like storms. Like, you've been in some serious shit in September. Like, I mean, what are, like, storm wise? Yeah, August. I mean, it did snow a little bit on us in August when we were on the way in. It snowed, actually. Yep. Anytime you're fucking around at that 12,000 foot range, it's a different world.
You have to be ready for every weather condition there is.
Yeah.
It's you just never know what you're getting. I mean, t-shirt to 3 layers of clothing within an hour and a half, and a lot of different trips up there.
Is there anything else that sticks out, other than obviously that one sticks out from what you can remember? Is there any other hunting trip, not necessarily just bad ones, but years, snowstorms, anything that sticks out over the years more than anything else? I mean, it's probably that's a hard question when you've done it for this long.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. One of the biggest memories I had of leaving elk camp in my old camp that I used to have up there in the same area. I had 2 of the 3 camps at one time.
Yeah. And that's way over there.
30 miles in.
Yeah.
There was a ridge we had to go over 11,400 feet. And
is that the one where we saw antelope?
Yes.
That's a fucking trip, by the way. So I don't want to interrupt Blake, but we're going over a mountain pass. There's fucking 50 to 75 antelope at 11.5. Is that how high? 11.4.
Yep.
Pretty crazy. So anyway, continue your. It'll be weird if you ever book an antelope hunt above tree line, but there was definitely a herd of antelope above tree line.
Yeah. So whitetail and antelope on that ridge now.
Oh, no shit.
Every year.
Oh, that's wild.
Whitetail at 11,400 feet. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. The antelope threw me off. Well, and the other thing too, we're riding by, and I think I remember I said, "Hey man, I just saw a bunch of sheep shit." Well, I didn't think it was antelope. Well, because antelope shit and sheep shit, certainly when you're on a mule looking down, I was like, there's sheep right here. But it was later on I figured out antelope. But anyway, what's the trip? So
so one of the worst trips out, we had a group of 6 hunters, and this was probably back in about 2003. We had one of the worst winters I've ever seen. And we left camp with our hunters. We had 6 dead bulls, all over 300. Yeah. It was we killed them 2 days, 6 bulls. It was like just the perfect hunt until we had to leave. This snowstorm that's already been on and off for a few days, or the whole way in, and then a few days of hunting, killed out. Now we're leaving. By the time we got up to the pass, there was 20-foot drifts with the wind.
Oh, good Lord.
And a trip that would normally take us 12 to 13 hours to get out was 2 days.
Yeah.
We got our mules were high centered in the snow drift, and we were digging
yanking them through, and oh Lord,
with our hand. Like who carries shovels out on a trip like that? You're just not used to it.
Oh yeah. I mean, yep. I'm one of the most prepared guys I know, and I would never think to carry an avalanche shovel for something like that. Yeah, for a horse ride. Yeah.
We do on some of our summer trips and our breaking in ventures, but just not on your typical trip with guests. You don't think about it for elk season. Yeah.
So on that trip, You had 6 bulls.
Mm-hmm.
You killed in 2 days.
Yeah.
And then knowing kind of that area or whatever, so you didn't have one mountain passed across, you had 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So how bad was the second one? Because the second one's not any easier than the first, really. So where did you camp on the valley floor, build a 5-foot white man fire?
Oh, boy.
And just pray to God everybody made it, and then sucked it up the next day?
I just stayed up all night feeding the fire and making sure the hunters were content. You know, we got
Was everybody pretty...
water. Yeah. I had one of those clients were freaking out a little bit. He's never been out of his office for the work he did. But, but he was the add-on to the group. You know? And but he made it, and we do. I always have extra food.
Mm-hmm. I can attest to that because I eat a lot.
Yes, I've never seen anybody eat more.
Yeah, I can eat. So that's elk, whatever, 6 down coming out. What are some other ones, like have you experienced like sheep hunting in August? And for people, I've talked about it on podcasts, but it's when you get above tree line, it's a different world. It's just different. I've never seen horrible, like total snow load of like, oh my God, storms in August. But I have seen some pretty nightmarish 24-hour storms come in. And the problem, and I mean, I'm not like, what's the most snow I guess you've seen in August? 1 foot or like 3 foot?
So we had a Mormon preacher on a sheep hunt when I was in my mid-20s up there where I took you. Yeah. We actually camped about 2 hours before where me and you camped. Mm-hmm. And I had one of my old guides at the time with me on that. And there was just the 3 of us. And we went in the day before season, woke up to almost 2 foot of snow on the ground, and couldn't even hardly get our pup tents were almost collapsed.
Yeah. So how long ago was this?
This was probably 2006 or so.
Okay. Yeah. Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And we woke up to just panic mode because we were in the middle of nowhere above tree line.
Yeah. While you're telling this story, I'm going to let the dogs in, so you're going to have to carry this for a minute. But go ahead. Tree line and lots of snow and a Mormon.
A Mormon. So we got out and just went to panic mode and started shoveling snow off the tents and taking care of horses. That was our main priority. The client was wanting out at that moment. We just tried to calm him all we could and keep him satisfied, fed, warm, make sure everything was good, break ice. We had water. I mean, everything was good besides we're not getting off the mountain. Our horses, it's so rocky up there that you would break a horse and mule's legs trying to get out. So
how did he handle it?
He panicked big time.
Did he ever calm down?
It was a constant struggle with this guy. Yeah. And a good person.
Yeah.
It just, me growing up in that area, I've hardly ever been in a situation like that in that area. That was the worst storm I've been in. Yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot to
that do. Was with Wally's story or whatever, like when he was telling his thing, I was trying to convey, because I don't want to come off as like an arrogant dick because I didn't pop out of the womb being prepared. What causes that is being in the position
bad scenarios
you were in, where I get super paranoid like of that, and it hardly ever happens. Yeah. But fuck, when it does, man, it happens.
Being prepared is key.
Yeah. So like with that, did you get a sheep?
No, this is one of my one and only times we never got a ram.
Because you had mentioned, you never told me the story. You had said there was one time that you didn't get a ram. Now, could you have, or was it no way you were getting a ram?
So I think it was only the 3rd to 4th day of that hunt, and the whole hunt was catering on keeping water broke, and keeping our bottles filled, and talking to him and packing him down. Yeah. By day 3, it felt like day 20.
Yeah.
And, And me and my guide, we took a Ritz cracker box, and we cut it up for a deck of cards and like wrote on there. That's how bored we were.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
There was no going nowhere.
Yeah, that bad.
And ground blizzards, and we played cards and stuff, and we could hear him on he had a satellite phone.
Yeah.
And we could hear him talking to his wife, and he was saying, my guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah, playing cards.
We're going to die. They're playing cards and we're going to die.
Oh, shit. That's pretty funny.
And we're over there trying to laugh because our tents were literally side by side. You can hear each other talk.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
But, I think it was the fourth day, he's like, do you think we can get out of here? And I was like, it's calming down finally. I was like, we will break trail and go start looking for a ram for you, and he's like, nope.
That's what I was wondering, because generally, if you have that long of a hunt, that early, it's usually, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been snowed and raid in a tent for 3 or 4 days. This fucking dog. Odin, he's not supposed to come out of his room. Usually it'll break enough.
That time of year.
But a lot of times people are broken before mentally. It breaks. Yeah. And you once you're broken, it's pretty hard to unfuckulate that situation.
There's not coming back from that.
No. And I mean, I think that anybody that takes 25 years to draw, or 20 to draw a sheep tag. When I say that, I've done podcasts about this already from the sheep hunt that I helped you with and others. What would you say the 2 main things that a client can do to help you the most as a guide and outfitter?
Physically prepare and shooting.
Okay, those are the 2 things I said on the podcast, and I doubt you listened to it because you don't listen to podcasts. So
I don't know how to listen to it.
Yeah, I had mentioned that because I had posted the photo of the guy missing.
Oh yeah,
and I got a little bit of hate from that, and I understand it's the internet or whatever. I wasn't copping out to we didn't do a better job or what, but in the situation that we were in, it was the last day, I think, and that distance, which was 4 something, that was it. That was as close as we were getting, in my opinion. Like, we weren't getting any closer.
No doubt.
And I would say that fitness-wise, that if someone is fit enough to keep up with the guide, that really benefits the hunter, because if not, you've got to go look. And if you find one, you have to let me know, and then I have to take the client to you, or you have to come back and get the client, which a lot can happen during that time. And then the other thing, I'm not a big fan of like ultra long distance shooting. As I say that, if you can do it like my buddy Pinch and Allwine, but 500 and in, I always, when people ask about high country mule deer or sheep, 500 in is what I think they should be extremely proficient at.
Definitely.
But the fitness is a big one as well, because if you're a goer and you can step for step go with you, when you find one, you're going to kill one. Yeah. But if you find one and you got to go back and get them, sheep move and it gets dark, or because a lot of times sheep pop out. Well, we had sheep below us that you and I found that we couldn't. There's no way we were getting back to the. I mean, you and I probably could have done it, but like. We're not even going to try because we know the outcome of it. Plus, you're smoking them for the next day. That you got a slight chance that day, and then you'll probably have no chance tomorrow because you killed them for that night or whatever. And are you agreeing with all this so far?
Oh, 100%.
So when guys come out, if somebody books a hunt with you next year, like what should they, like shooting wise? I said 500, but I'd like your opinion.
That's actually what I tell the hunters on there. If sometimes you'll get a hunter that's old enough school. Well, the problem is with the points now being 20-something points.
Oh, yeah, you could be fucking 70 and draw the tag.
The clientele are getting older.
Yeah,
that are drawing. A lot of the older clientele is not into the far shooting stuff because they grew up with 150 to 250 yard shots. So you have to adjust for that. If that's what they want and that's what they can do, that's what you have to do as a guide. Yeah. The younger guys that do draw, let's say in their 30s, maybe early 40s, if most of those guys are on board with, hey, I can shoot 7, I'm like, well, how about you get good at 5?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to let you fucking shoot at 700. And,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And we always try to shoot before the hunt with them.
You're very good about that. That was one thing that, I mean, there was good comments and normal comments and some dickhead comments, but, you know, somebody had said that every client should have to shoot the max distance they say they can shoot. And that is not always, not everybody has a 500-yard range.
Area.
But, you know, so I think, though, if you see a guy that's shooting 3 and just, you know, laying down, you know, golf ball groups or even softball, it's like, okay, he can shoot, right? I mean, it's just not realistic to be able to have a client shoot out to 500. Not everybody has that as an outfitter capability, but you have everybody shoot on your property, beforehand.
Yep.
So
and like the guy this year that missed, when he got home, the next day he shot 500 yards and was hitting bullseyes again.
Yeah.
The day after, or the day after he got home, after he missed that ram.
Yeah.
You know,
he was a good dude.
Great dude.
Yeah. He came over to the house. I can't remember why he came over to the house. I had maybe something. I think I had something of his. He forgot maybe in my truck, but super good guy. But like,
shit happens.
Oh yeah. And I mean, the thing that for me, it's difficult. He had holdover. He didn't have a ballistic turret. And that's one thing where not everybody's going to want to use my gun, right? People have their own gun. They want to use their own gun. I totally get that. But I will say that, if you've got the money, and generally if you're drawn at 60, you probably do have some money. Not everybody, right? Shit happens. Yeah. But I would just really stress about wearing the target out from 1 to 500 a lot. Like it's a big, because we weren't in a hurry.
Nope.
They were sleeping on a rock, and nor did we had hurry up.
And we had time to build the whole shooting platform out of backpacks and coats and have him on a steady ass rest. You know?
Yeah. And that was the thing I tried to convey in the podcast is like, I wasn't blaming him.
No.
And on the post was like, look, know your weapon and be fit. Like those are the two things that you can do to really help out a guide and a positive attitude, right? Mm-hmm. But some people, whatever, they're crabby in the morning. It doesn't matter. But like, I'd rather you be a dick in the morning and shoot at 10 o'clock and, dick at 7 and shoot at 10. With that, what is the farthest shot you've taken, not you, a client has taken on a ram?
For me, it's been under 600.
Yeah, which is pretty normal, with technology and guys behind the gun or whatever else. Mm-hmm. And then I would assume the shortest is like archery short. Like you probably had some close ones.
Yeah, like you had to keep both eyes open.
Yeah.
Under 100 by far. Yeah.
Yeah. So with elk, I don't have we were up there and all of our shots were well within pretty close, what I would say pretty close range. We had one, and he missed was at 4, I think. But everything else was like, shit, I think Mike's was at 85. I could kill with my bow. What do you say the average shot is on elk?
Over all the years, I would have to say it's probably somewhere in that 200 to 300 range. Yeah, anywhere in there.
Realistic,
yeah. Many elk under 150. Because we're always striving to get as close as we can.
Yeah.
That's what seals the deal. If you can.
The closer you get, the better you get.
Yeah, but since we run a business in cliff country, and a lot of it's above tree line, I'm always urging people to shoot out there at that 450 range.
Yeah.
If they can, if they're set up for it, if they're comfortable with it, and it's becoming more and more popular. A lot of people are doing the longer shooting and putting the time in, and that's a good sign. Yeah.
I think that if how would I word it without I think that if you are extremely proficient at 500 yards and different, not on a bench, not just on a bench, but when I say that, in the prone, on a pack, on a jacket, whatever, where you don't always have bench rest type shooting, that you're probably not going to run into too many issues bringing an animal home. Because pretty much within reason, any good guide is probably going to get you within that
Yeah.
500 distance. That's why I always say 500, because if I can't get you within 5, I'm not doing my job. But certainly there is times that
That's challenging in our area.
5, yeah. And I'd had some people, the dickheads that commented, and I'm like, look, there's some spots you're not getting in. Like, they're on this side of the mountain and you're on this side, and you're not getting any closer because no matter where you go, they're going to see you. Or you loop around, it's a 7-hour trip to get above them. Like, and the client will probably die. So I would say, though, your specific area, definitely there's a few spots where you're not fucking getting closer than 5.
There's many times that we just say, don't shoot, we're coming back tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're letting the elk move because there's no way in there on them.
Yeah, sheep and elk, both.
And that's the thing. You'll always get all kinds of comments on social media because people don't understand that grew up in they're great hunters.
Yeah.
But they don't understand about hunting in an area like we're in where you get a lot of open country. They've never had to be in that situation where you can ride for 6 hours and you're just getting to the other side and you're still a mile and a half away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of open country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you just call the hunt and you go in the next day instead of shooting a stupid shot that a hunter's not comfortable with and then missing and chasing them all out,
Yeah. So packing list wise, because we've been bullshitting a while here. Mm-hmm. Packing list. So on sheep and elk, which almost are the same thing but different, but gear list wise or whatever, what do you recommendation wise as far as if somebody's booking a hunt? I mean, and I can throw my 2 cents in as well, but we'll go sheep first. Like, we're going in on mules, and temperatures range from 30 to 80, but I mean, average temperatures, I mean, should be. But I mean, a standard layering system is pretty, normal, I would say.
Layers is the key word we use with everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm always, at the end of a conversation, after layers comes up, I always say you have to have some sort of waterproof shell. Yeah. And that acts as waterproof and a windbreaker. Wind is a huge factor that a lot of people aren't used to. That new system you just got me from Born Primitive, that new outer shell, something like that is
the headwind
the type of outer shell you want.
Yeah, and I mean, I think when people, like, gear-wise, when you're going in on, horse and mule, you don't have to go ultralight, but you still have to carry that shit eventually. And so I think that people, like, really, when you're looking at this, is you want to have, like, some kind of a merino, synthetic, whatever, base layer, intermediate kind of hoodie, puffy jacket, and then rain gear.
Something with a hood also.
Yep. And then, yeah. And I double up on hoods. I like, obviously, my rain gear to have a hood, and I want one of my intermediate layers to have a hood. But the wind you brought up, the wind can be unforgiving, up there. So a wind blocker is huge, like you said. And then, glove-wise, like, people ask me about gloves all the time. I always bring a set of leather gloves, and that's more a manual labor glove, like whether I'm getting firewood or, whatever. And then I try to always have not an Arctic cold weather glove, but, like, you can get those leather wool lined gloves at, I don't know.
The choppers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're like $39 or $49 and they last forever. And then optic wise, and that's a question I get a lot, like, should I bring my spotter? And I'll let you take it from here. My opinion is, if you're a hunter and you're good on glass, I don't mind you bringing a spotter. If you're someone that just bought a spotter to fit in, I don't really give a shit if you bring a spotter, because you're probably just carrying extra weight. But get your opinion on that.
No, it's very true. When it comes to sheep hunting, something 10 power above. Yeah. When it comes to binos.
Binos, yep.
Yeah. That tripod system you helped me get set up with this year is kick-ass. Even with binos, any intermediate ranges, 10 power, because we're looking a long ways away.
Yeah, at times, yeah. Yeah.
There's some places that we look from our first nest, we call it, what is that, 3.5 miles across for the furthest ridges? I mean,
it's a poke, yeah. I mean, I brought a 65, and I'm bringing in, I brought a Swaro on the sheep hunt, a Maven on the elk hunt. And next year, I'm definitely bringing an 85. I don't mind packing the weight.
Yeah.
But you were running 15s, I think. And the thing that I would suggest, and then, Blake, you tell me what you think, is like at the bare minimum, 10 power binoculars on your chest. And if you're good at glassing, bring a tripod for a hunter. It certainly helps out us. You might see something we miss. And then if you want to bring a spotter, my suggestion is like if you are behind a spotter all the time and you're used to glassing with a spotter, bring a spotter. But if you're bringing it just to kind of fit in,
because you think you need to,
don't bring it. Yeah.
Yep.
Unless, I mean, when I say that, if you're going to bring a 115 and let Blake and I use it, like fucking bring it in. But if you're, when I say I think that's a $7,000 system with Swaro. But, within reason, if you're not good at it, you don't spend the money on it is the big thing, because you could spend it on boots or something maybe more important, or tip Blake more.
Good sleeping bag.
Yeah, a good sleeping bag. Yeah. And then I would say, have a headlamp. It's pretty basic shit. Like, I mean, when you're at a base camp, but like, you want to have a headlamp and a beanie hat and gloves like we're talking about. Gun wise, and I get this question a lot, I would say it's far more important for you to hit the fucking thing than worry about crazy different calibers. But that's my own opinion. It's same with archery. What do you suggest on gun and scope, caliber and scope and things of that nature?
Man, that's been all over the board since I started until now.
Yeah, sheep and elk both.
Yeah. I used to be a huge 30 caliber or nothing. That used to be my old school philosophy.
Yep.
If you're going to
everybody's,
hit it, yeah. Nowadays, just glasses, rangefinders, everything has gotten better, and people are practicing more. And so, a smaller caliber now is just as efficient, it seems like, in today's world with people that have been killing lately. Wind will come back as a factor almost every conversation, though. Mm-hmm. The lighter the bullet, more drift, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the type of day that we kill.
Would you say
know your weapon?
Yeah, that's a big one. So like sheep, and I've killed a ton of stuff with a 6.5 PRC, and this is a very broad question and answer. If you have money, I would say that you can have multiple calibers. It's a little bit different, scenario. But if you're buying one gun, a 6.5 PRC or a 7 PRC will do anything you want it to. When you get into a 300 PRC, you really don't want to be shooting whitetail with a 300 PRC. But I would say something on the sheep hunting side of things with, the best ballistic coefficient is going to, be a big, part of it as far as drop. But the reality is if you're shooting out to 500 and in, almost anything will do the job.
Yes. Time on your weapon and practicing with different positions.
Yeah.
Because that's a big thing I've been preaching, especially the last 10 years. Get off your bench. Grab your coat, lay on the ground. Find a stump, lay on the ground. People that are great shots don't know how to change position because they grew up shooting and practicing off a bench.
Yeah.
It sounds so silly, really, when you say it out loud, but most people never practice their weapon besides on the same bench they grew up on.
Yeah.
Same style of shooting. Then when they get there in the rocks or sheep hunting and they have to lay down for the first time, they can't even line up on their scope right. I don't know.
Well, you've been on a lot of sheep hunts, so it's a good question. But I mean, people ask me if they should bring a bipod, and most of the time you're probably not going to be shooting off a bipod. There's times, right?
Yeah.
Our hunter could have shot off a bipod. I would say if you have a really ultra lightweight bipod, probably not going to hurt to have it, but I would not count on it. So when I say that, there's a real good chance you're going to be setting up on the top of a backpack and have a puffy jacket on the back end. And I'm agreeing with you. Most people don't practice that.
No.
And so if you have the opportunity, and it does look, I get it, like you go to a gun range, it looks a little bit weird because everybody's on the picnic table benches and everything else. But I don't think even on the picnic table bench, it would be a horrible idea to pull the bipod off, grab your puffy or soft shell or pack and lay it on there and fire some rounds down range, because that's
how you're going to be killing.
You're going to be shooting. Yeah. And the more accurate you are in those awkward shooting positions, the better chance you are going to have of bringing an animal home. And I know that does not mean 500. That could mean 225.
Yeah.
Because if you're at 225 at a 35-degree angle uphill and you've never laid your shit down on top of a rock, like that's a problem, right? And so you may not be able to practice shooting on top of a rock, let's say, but you certainly can practice without a bipod and a bench. And even if you're dry firing, like you can practice.
You can use your chair. You can use your laying down. Yeah, anything you have.
Yeah.
Make it awkward for yourself to practice.
What would you say some of the other bigger mistakes are that you've seen like hunters make, and that's shooting gear, anything that are going into a high country, more extreme type of a hunt? What would you say some of the mistakes are they make? And that includes diet, like eating, like anything. Like what have you seen? Like hydration, whatever.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to food, hydration is the biggest on the list, especially at high elevations. Gear-wise?
Yeah, I mean, pick it. Like, the world's your oyster. You've got 39 years. If you had to pick the first thing that you've seen people fuck up on anything, what would you say that is? Elk and sheep.
Questioning the guide.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So when people get a hold of me asking about that question, I've done podcasts on this.
Have you?
Oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, guiding the guide is heavily frowned upon. Now, when I say that, I always prefer to have a guy that can glass. Like, I always prefer a guy that might, when I'm looking at a stock and I say, all right, dude, we're going to go up here, we're going to come down here, whatever. And he says something like, actually, dude, I can probably make that shot, right? Or whatever. Like,
or let's go this way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or, hey, man, I don't want to climb that. It's worth the risk for me because I might be blown out by the time we go up that. Do you want to go? Like, nothing, in my opinion, for me, nothing wrong with that. But the biggest way to fuck up a hunt pretty quickly is guiding the guide is a big one, or questioning the guide. When I say that, what have been your experiences on questioning the guide? Like examples.
So the biggest ram we could have ever taken out of our area was missed because the hunter wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
And that ram was laying 60 yards away when we topped the hill. We all hit the ground. It was a whisper and sign language type situation.
Yeah, close. Yeah, and no wind.
Yeah, there was over 20-something rams in that group.
Yeah.
And he says, well, I want you to get up and look over the rest of them because there might be a bigger one.
Oh,
and I was like, you have a record book ram laying right here.
Yeah.
We have to lay here until they get up, and that's when you're going to shoot. And he goes, there could be a bigger one. I was like, oh, I guarantee you there's not a bigger one.
Yeah. Yep.
And there wasn't time to glass the rest.
Yeah.
It was like one ram looked right as we hit the ground, because they caught
one
motion.
caught you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was laying there, and we didn't booger him. Hours later, the rams got up, and that big ram was one of the first rams to leave on the left-hand side. And he goes, I see it. And I was like, kill it. And like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is a bookhead ram.
As a sheep guy, you are going to be excited about something like that.
I still get excited. I love it.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't shoot. And I was like, shoot it. And he's like, no, there could be a bigger one. And I was like, you're going to tell me, I can say this, but I'm thinking.
Lived in that unit forever. Yeah.
Yeah. With what I've seen up here, you're going to pass up the biggest ram I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That you could hit with a bow.
Yeah.
Because you're guessing that might be one more bigger. You know, and I don't know, that hunt will always haunt me.
Yeah. And what happened? I mean, tell like what happened, because it's important to always put context, because I've had kind of the same kind of, you know, shit happen. Is when I say that, if I had you as a client and I knew you, and I'm like, there could be a bigger one on the gun, whatever. You can target acquisition, you can get on the gun quick, you can fire, whatever. But when you're with a client that probably can't do that, I'm assuming that turned into a very fast shooting scenario, and they all fucked off.
Yeah. So this ram, you know, with that many rams, they
It's
bunch
a lot of
up
fucking eyeballs,
with,
but yeah.
with people that don't know rams. They started bunching up and eating together, and that biggest ram got in the middle. There was no other shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been dead at under 100 yards twice. And by time 3/4 of the group got out, it was in the middle.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the big rams do. And I'm sure you've witnessed that.
Yeah,
a
they're
lot.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, they just have a knack of being in the middle of that group. And by time the last of the rams got out in the open, obviously there was nothing bigger. There was he ended up with about right at a 170 class ram as the very last ram that walked out.
Yeah.
And I said, there's the next biggest. And he goes, well, let's go for that big one that you wanted. And I was like, middle of the group.
Yeah.
Well, now they're going over the horizon. We're running out of daylight. It's getting nighttime. This was towards the end of the hunt.
Yeah.
And I was like, that last ram is now the second biggest and the only one
you
have
can
left.
shoot.
And they're heading in a direction to the cliffs, 2,000 feet off the back edge.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, it's now or never. And
What do you think the biggest one was?
180s.
Yeah. Yeah. Conservatively, but yeah, 180s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one scenario of like, you know, questioning the guide or whatever else.
Yeah.
The other, you know, when you're, I'm trying to put this into context, because, you know, there's times when you hunt all day. There's times when you not. There's times when you glass quite a bit. There's times when you push a situation. There's times when you know, hang back or wait for another day, because it's like the next day may be better. You know, the biggest thing that I have tried to explain to people when you have a good guide is they know the wind, they know the demeanor of the animal, they know the terrain, they know everything, because they've been back there for years. That's where you're paying them. So if a guy, you know, says basically like, you know, when you're out, like the wind's bad, we need to hang here for the rest of the day until the wind calms down, you should listen to him, because if you push that day, elk specifically, you know, like you're going to blow all the elk out of the, you know, the area. And you know, what happens, which sucks, is sometimes at the end of the hunt, when a guy probably fucked it up for himself, when he gets done, he kind of blames you because you didn't get one or whatever else, or he didn't get one, I mean. But I think that people need to really understand, like, if you do your due diligence and you go back with a guide and an outfitter, and you're with your guide, that you've never been there, you have no idea probably what you're doing, and you may have hunted elk a few times, but you could have hunted elk in Arizona one year, Utah another, and now you're at 11.5 in Wyoming. It's not the same. It's different, and you're paying that guy because of his experience. Yeah. And when you question that the entire time, not only does it potentially fuck up the hunt, it makes for a very awkward hunt. And when I'm saying this, I'm asking as much as anything, like, that awkwardness makes for a shittier hunt, basically. Yeah. And how often has that happened with you? Like every few years? Because, I mean, this year we had awesome clients, right? Oh, yeah. But, like, how many times does that happen throughout the years? I mean, every few years you get one that's like, fuck, I wish I would have never booked you.
Yeah, so I haven't had to run into that too much with the repeat clientele that I had for so long. And it's happened a few times in the last handful of years, just because new clients and you don't know who you're getting, and you know. Yeah. But most hunters are fucking pretty kick-ass and willing to listen. Yeah. And I still love my job. I love going out with. Every once in a while, you get somebody just, you know, try to tell you how to hunt an area you grew up in since you were fucking hitting puberty, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. When's the last bad one you had?
A few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bow or gun?
Gun.
Sheep or elk?
Elk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it early, mid, like?
It was just a rifle hunt, and the guy, some people are just hard to please.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's food, which is rare for us because I usually have
you got pretty good food. Yeah.
That's usually one of the biggest compliments we have in camp.
Yeah.
Most of our guys are used to going home with elk, so food's top compliment.
Yeah. So while we're talking about that, the general day, because we're hitting, I don't want to keep you all night, but we're over an hour and a half. The general day, I'm going to leave sheep out of that because not that many people are going to hunt sheep, but the general day elk hunting, what does that look like? From the moment you leave camp, the time we leave, where we're going, and I say that generalities, give a few scenarios, but what's that look like from the time you get back?
Yeah, so most mornings are starting, cooks up at 3:30 to 4:30, or 3:30 to 4. Guides are up about that same time, starting to do their saddling and things. Breakfast is usually an hour before first crack of light. That way the guides can get out, and depending on where the guides are going, I mean, we kill elk within 30 minutes of camp. Well, shoot, my first bull this year before I had my wreck was 10 minutes from camp, probably. Some guides will go an hour to an hour and a half from camp, so they're hunting along the way to the spot they're wanting to go glass. And like I said before, since we are in a lot of cliff country and a lot of the areas we go, a guide might have to go around a mountain to where he wants to set up in glass. So everybody's, usually 2-on-1, two hunters, one guide, split up 3 different directions, total of 6 hunters for most of our hunts. And then we try to stay out all day. Yeah. But sometimes if you don't have any luck in one area and you look across camp onto the other side of the drainage and you see elk, you go back to camp, you eat lunch, you relax, take a nap, and then you go out for an evening hunt over there. Yeah. Most of the time you don't go back to camp.
What kill wise, what would you say the average time? I mean, and that's 39 years, but what would you say elk wise? Are most elk dying by 11 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Like, how many times you're like, balls deep in snow, dark? I mean, when's the average kill? This is rifle, not bow. This is October.
Yeah, the first hour of light in the morning, commonly, and the last hour in the evening. That's always been our go-tos. Unless it's one of those scenarios where you found the bull the first hour, but it took you half a day to crawl in on
like
it.
Me and Bill. Yeah.
So that'd be the other scenario. But I mean, most of the times mornings and evenings.
Yeah. And why I say this, everybody make sure you bring orange. Yes. I've talked about it on the podcast. So when and again, because I don't want to misspeak, because I've only been back there, a little bit, but it you could be potentially, by daylight crossing a mountain pass at 11,000 feet, heading over, to another whatever area. But normally when you guys, head out, you have a relatively, not pinpoint, but we've seen elk the night before. You've seen elk the night before going up and over to a pass. That's the last place you left them or whatever. So very rarely, from what I've talked to you and I've seen, you're going blind. Like you generally have a pretty good idea. What's the normal hunt last? Again, elk, rifle.
Yeah. Boy, it seems like usually, like I if I'm following your question right, like if we have 6 hunters out and it's the first day hunt, or we get to camp the first morning out, most hunts we're done with at least 3 of those hunters the first morning of
that's
hunting.
exactly what I'm asking, because it's pretty impressive. But
and from there it's picking up and seeing where maybe another big bull in that same group went. We're relocating that part of the group, or finding another one, or somebody seen something over here, but it's pretty rare for us to go the full 6 days. In today's world, nobody likes to admit it. It's different from when I was out of high school, but everybody wants to get out, go to the taxidermist, and get back to their job or family. So normally we're not in there on day 6.
Yeah. And you just so, we're putting like total, context into this. It doesn't always happen that way.
No.
But, like the first group, I had the easy spot. There was some pretty bad weather that more than most likely, when you're going in there, if you could shoot to 500, like we talked about, and, you can hike average, not even a stud, averagely hike, your success rate is pretty fucking high, right? And so when I say that, I wouldn't say 100%, but probably pretty close.
Probably 90% of the time over my whole career, we've been 100%.
Yeah. So, and I'm not trying to oversell it because I don't want people, but
we're not dealing in numbers. Like, I ran a camp over in the Jackson Hole side, and the guy.
There were numbers.
Yeah, I mean, the guy that bought that camp out from the owner I ran it for.
Yeah.
He ended up running 90 to 120 hunters a year.
Oh fuck.
When he broke it down, they'd get one big bull a year usually because it's the Yellowstone side. The genetics over there are commonly bigger. They'd get one big bull and that resells because of the name Yellowstone. We're on just the other side of the mountain, and I don't know. I think we're in God's country. We don't have to put up with the numbers, and we get to run a business with happy hunters. And commonly, I tell all the people that call me, I'm like, we're not known for genetics.
Yeah.
Even though we're killing trophy bulls.
Yeah, good bulls. Yeah.
Yeah. But
but on that first day, generally 3 bulls if there's 6 hunters.
Usually.
And then within the next couple days,
done.
3 more bulls.
Going out the next couple days usually.
Yeah. And then I think what you said from my experience fucking around back there and then helping you out, I would say 280 to 330 is very realistic.
Yeah.
And then potential for something bigger. Yep. The only thing I would say, if you are, booking with Blake, make sure what you want is clear up front. Meaning, if you just want a kick-ass wilderness badass trip and you're fine with a 6-point, I would say that's pretty realistic. If you're like, hey, I want a 350 bull, they need to be very upfront with you and willing to go home with nothing. Yeah. But I would also say if you're, wanting that, right, and you're bringing 5 buddies, your chances of that happening kind of go down, because if you bring 5 buddies with you, unless you play extra for one-on-one, which you need to pay extra for, that's a little bit more difficult. It can happen 100%, but that costs you more because you have to have a specific guide with one guy doing a lot of extra. Because, a lot of people, the internet's awesome, but it's also full of shit. A 350 bull is a big fucking bull. Yep. And I say that out of the entire time you've lived back here in some of the greatest country God's created, how many 350 bulls have you killed and how many have you guided?
We've only got a handful of 350 bulls, and the biggest being 380.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen 3 bulls that are
pushing.
Bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot bigger. But, it's not a common thing, and it's nothing I try to sell.
Yeah.
I've already turned down 2 people this year that called me, and I told them to look elsewhere, and I tried to help them find somewhere else.
And they were looking for 375 plus?
That was their goal. Exactly.
Yeah. Which I would say you could do, but it's a gamble because, one, they have to have the drive and the push and the ability. They have to be able to shoot. And you have to really halt your camp to – I'm speaking, not Blake. You have to put so much effort into that. You basically need a guide and a scout to make sure that happens. And it's not fun because of the stress. 2, it sucks up a very good guide and a scout, which you may or may not have that could be doing other shit. So, good on you for passing that on, basically, because you could take their money. And they may kill one. But, I would say, though, you're going to get fucking hiked to death, which you may not be ready for. And there's other units that may be, better for that. But where you're at is pretty fucking amazing, country.
We're
so.
pretty blessed. Be able to kill what we kill year in and year out for this long, and then be able to do it with my best friends and my family.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's what I love.
Give you an example. When we were on the way in, me and Caden, we ran into elk on the way in, and Caden, we're kind of divvying up who's going. There's elk everywhere, and there was elk on the face, and I'm like, look, bro, I'm gonna fuck that up, Caden. I've never looped behind this. I'm like, I know how to come from the front. I don't feel comfortable going from the back. I don't know the way. I'm like, I'll go for these ones I can see, which ended up being way fucking farther than
you thought.
Oh fuck! I felt bad for the client. But I mean, actually, none of us got any of that earlier in the day. This is day 0.5. This is on the way in. Right? Yeah. And when I say on the way in, I mean we're literally not even close to camp yet, and there's elk everywhere. We stop, tie up horses, and then Caden's going after one group, and I'm taking the other guy. And I'm like, okay, Caden, this looks easy, but like, how the fuck do I get over there? He's like, oh, you go down here and you swerve and you whatever. So I get over there. I'm not a horse guy or a mule. And I get to this fucking valley, and I'm like,
I didn't see that canyon.
I guess I can, so I'm like, so I brought the mules and horses down, which we get to the other side, there's a trail, so that we take up on the way back. So we ended up, we don't get an elk, we come back, we're almost to camp, and then one of the clients gets a shot. And I think, keep in mind, Caden's 20. We have 4 clients. And when I say Caden's 20, he's like, who do we take? And I'm like, from my experience, this will solve itself. And he was like, did he tell you this?
No.
And I was like, he's like, what? And I'm like, the one that makes it. And he's like, what? And I'm like, we'll bring all 4. Only one of them's keeping up. And he's like, really? I'm like, Caden, I can barely keep up with you. One client is making it up to the hill. And I'm like, we'll bring them all. It's kind of triage. They'll just drop out. It's cool, man. We're almost out of light. We're not picking on them. Like, whoever makes it before dark gets to shoot. And he's like, you do it that way? I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, we got 4 guys. We're 20 minutes from camp. The one that keeps up gets to shoot. It's whatever. And we get a shot that night. He missed. And that was before the hunt started.
Yeah.
So but on the way in, there was a 5x5 and one of the, before you hit the thick timber and go up and over, whatever, like broadside, whatever. And I was looking at Caden like, should we shoot this fucking thing? And he was like, no. And I'm like, this is going to be a good trip, because I mean, a lot of places would have killed that bull. And that was a 3.5-year-old 5x5 or 5x6.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what I was, getting into when I went in there, but like we're riding up and, I'm like, all right, well, fuck it, right? We go up and then
we're just riding by elk and elk camp.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was, pretty much it. And when I say that, some people would choose to shoot be more than happy with a 5x5 or 5x6. Some people, want an older bull. And I would say he was probably 3. But like by the time it was said and done, and that was a pretty rough storm that they had went through. Even the guy that didn't get one, he had opportunities, because the first night when he missed, that bull was over 3. Yeah. I wouldn't say he was a monster, but he was probably 310. Yeah. And he missed, and that was the one guy that didn't get a bull, but he missed at a shot that he probably he's a great dude. I don't want to, but even he had a shot at a 300-inch bull, and then he was on. Caden brought him into 2 5x5s, and they did not shoot those, but he had a chance at a bull over 300 the first, day 0.65 or whatever. So pretty damn amazing.
Oh, it's amazing
trip.
How many new clients over the last handful of years I've had at Barney 5.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. I take their bullets because they're going to shoot the first friggin' spike, because they've been in Colorado for 10 years and they finally seen an elk. It's no, we're not shooting a spike or a 3-point. You'll get a better one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then before we end this thing, how long are your sheep hunts and how long are the elk hunts?
Sheep hunts are 9 days and the elk hunts are 6.
And it is that 9 one in, one out, or is that 1 in, 9, 1 out?
From the day the client rides in to the day they ride out.
So 7 days and a little bit of hunting.
No, 6. The day they ride in and out is 6 days total.
Okay.
And we're usually not there the whole time.
Okay. Well, no. Rewind on sheep.
Oh, sheep?
You said 9, so 7 days of hunting? Or
yes,
or
for sheep, it's 7 days of hunting. For me and the crew, we have an extra
I
day
fucking
added
know
on.
now. Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an extra 2 days added on to their hunt that they're not even charged for because
getting everything in.
And that's if we find the rams in that area.
Yeah.
But the worst case scenario, for us crew, it's 11 days.
11 days. Yep. And then elk is
6 total.
6 of hunting. And I would agree, like not normally 6. And then I looked earlier, I want to mention this one more time. You are, I should know this, Chamley, so CHAMLEY_outfitting on Instagram. And then your website is?
Chamley Outfitting on Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah.
And then the website?
And then our website's www.wyomingoutfitting.com.
Gotcha. And so you have openings for elk this year, and then sheep, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, so sheep, it's I've got people waiting in line and sent deposits, but most of those guys aren't years from even drawing, but they're ready to do it. So if somebody's coming in with maximum points and has a chance, get a hold of us and we'll work things out over the phone,
Yeah. Well, I can't recommend it enough. For the way we met, and as good a friend as you are, is kind of cool. Like Blake said, I kept looking. Wait, were we online when we were talking? We weren't. When I first met Blake, because I'm introverted, I was looking at the ground, and you didn't like me, and I thought you were a fuckhead. So it ended up pretty crazy because obviously super good friends, and then your area and the way you run it is pretty fucking spectacular. Like I can't recommend it enough. And, so anybody that has 6 points or has a buddy they can borrow points from, looking for an elk hunt, I'll be back there a ton this year. Like I can't recommend it enough. I mean, and not just the elk, but, the camp atmosphere is chill. And you have 2 giant heaters in the, hunters tent, which is great for me because I'm cold all the damn time. And you've got Johanna can cook like she's basically a chef. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. And Gracie's cool. I think Gracie's coming back. She's super excited. I think she's going to come fly fishing with me this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Did you know she fly fished?
No.
Yeah.
She surprises me all the time.
Oh yeah. She's a trip. So she does like decorative welding and then pipe fitting or whatever the fuck she does in the oil field. But I had messaged her. I said, hey, what do you got going on this weekend? Are you going snowmobiling? She's I'm going to go fly fish. And I'm like, do you want me to take you? She's like, I wouldn't ask. And I'm like, your midget ass fly fishes. So, but I think she's very excited about coming back. So really good crew. But if you've got 6 points or somebody and you can work it out for elk, I mean, I highly suggest Blake, and then I'll be back there helping out as well. And then on the sheep hunt, if you are older than Christ and you have 20 to 25 points in state or out, like definitely get a hold of Blake for that. Cause that sheep hunt is, I mean, it's, once in a lifetime. It's pretty amazing.
We got a pretty cool compliment from the biologist this year, and he said over the last decade or 2, we're bringing out the oldest class of rams in the state of Wyoming.
Oh, no shit.
Year in, year out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
no.
he's been following all that and stuff. So
that's pretty cool. I ran into him. I always fuck with him about the orange thing. So I'd coming back with whitetail. I shot a couple whitetails. They were at the shitter down there, whatever, at the mandatory stop. And then one of the game wardens with the bear thing or whatever, I got out and I'm like, I fucking had orange on. He started laughing, and then the biologist started talking to you, spoke very highly of you, and he was like, I've heard of you. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, don't believe I was, we were talking shit, like, don't believe everything you hear. But he was talking about your area and sheep, like how good of an area it was. It's not a gimme, right? But
no, it's a hard unit. But
he was talking about like it's a pretty amazing area with what you're bringing out of there, because you consistently are bringing out 160 plus sheep, which is, not the easiest thing to do. So, yeah, well, dude, I appreciate, I you've been putting this, I've hounded you for a while about doing a podcast, and I don't know how many beers deep you are. I've definitely drank some whiskey, but dude, I can't appreciate the friendship enough and the opportunity, to help you out. I mean, I know, like, originally you were like, dude, I can't pay you what other area, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I've told you, I was like, dude, I'll do it for fucking free. Your area is so badass. I'll just come help. So I look forward to, helping you out this year, man, and I appreciate you. Oh, hell yeah. And I appreciate you coming on the podcast and coming out of your shell.
Yeah, I'd usually rather wash my new truck than come here.
Yeah, no, you did good, man. I was happy. I mean, the way you made it sound, I'm like, this motherfucker may not talk. So, no, it's good. But yeah, anybody that has any questions, I mean, obviously feel free to get a hold of me, but we give it all the info, to get a hold of Blake. Highly suggest going sheep and elk, but with the elk, I really liked that. Elk hunting was pretty badass, so definitely get a hold of Blake with that. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.